The massive screen at Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Station lit up with unusual patterns. Tom Baker, the night shift operator, nearly spilled his coffee when he saw the readings. The signals were unlike anything he had ever seen before. Too regular to be natural. Too complex to be random space noise. "Sir, you need to see this," Tom called out to his supervisor, keeping his eyes fixed on the screen. The blips were moving in formation, definitely artificial, and definitely heading toward Earth's solar system. Within hours, every major space agency on Earth was analyzing the data. The truth was undeniable. Humanity was about to have its first contact with alien civilization. The objects were massive, each one larger than Earth's biggest cities, and they were slowing down as they approached Pluto's orbit. Admiral James Miller stood in the United Nations Emergency Council chamber, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic display showing the approaching vessels. "Ladies and gentlemen," he addressed the assembled world leaders, "we are looking at a fleet of ships with technology far beyond our current capabilities." The room buzzed with nervous energy. Decades of preparing for this moment hadn't made it any less overwhelming. The ships had sent their first transmission, a simple greeting in over 1,000 languages, including perfect English. They called themselves the Galactic Empire. "They're being too perfect," muttered Intelligence Director Robert Thompson, reviewing the transmission data. "Every language, every dialect. It's like they've been studying us for years." He shared a concerned look with Admiral Miller. The Empire's message was friendly enough. They wanted to send a diplomatic delegation to Earth to discuss mutual beneficial arrangements and cultural exchange, but something felt off about their carefully worded messages. 3 days later, a smaller ship descended through Earth's atmosphere, landing at the designated site in neutral Switzerland. The world watched as the first aliens humanity had ever seen emerge from their vessel. They looked almost human-like, tall and elegant in their flowing robes, with slight differences that made them appear both familiar and foreign. But while the world's media focused on the public meetings and grand speeches about galactic brotherhood, a team of Earth's best hackers worked tirelessly in a secured facility beneath the Rocky Mountains. Their mission: crack the Empire's computer systems. "Got something," announced Lisa Green, lead cyber analyst, her fingers flying across multiple keyboards. "Their encryption is advanced, but they never expected us to even attempt breaking it. Arrogance. That's their weakness. What they found changed everything. Hidden documents, classified reports, and tactical assessments of Earth painted a very different picture than the one being presented in Switzerland. The Empire wasn't interested in cultural exchange. They were following a centuries-old playbook of planetary absorption." Admiral Miller reviewed the decoded files with growing concern. "Look at this," he pointed to a particular document. "They've done this to 17 other civilizations. They start with trade agreements, then economic partnerships. Within decades, the planets are nothing more than resource extraction points for the Empire." The pattern was clear. The Empire would offer advanced technology in exchange for reasonable resource rights. They would establish temporary military bases for protection. Before long, the local governments would be deep in debt to the Empire, forced to accept increasingly demanding terms. "They think we're primitive," Director Thompson observed, studying another decoded file. "Their assessment of Earth lists us as pre-space capable and easily manipulated through technological incentives." He smiled grimly. "They have no idea about our quantum computing projects or our fusion research." Admiral Miller called an emergency meeting with the UN Security Council. In a secure room, surrounded by the world's most powerful leaders, he presented the evidence. "They're not here for friendship," he concluded. "They're here to take everything we have." The UN Secretary-General nodded gravely. "Then we must prepare. But we'll play along for now. Let them think their plan is working." She turned to the assembled leaders. Agreement? The vote was unanimous. Earth would appear to welcome the Empire's overtures while secretly preparing for what might come. In orbital shipyards hidden from Imperial scans, Earth's real space fleet was already under construction. In underground bases, weapons were being developed to counter Imperial technology. The Empire's representatives smiled benevolently in their meetings, never suspecting that their perfect first contact was already unraveling. They had made a crucial mistake. They had underestimated humanity, and humanity was ready to show them just how wrong they were. The Imperial delegation's main hall gleamed with technology far beyond anything publicly available on Earth. Their chief negotiator, High Commissioner Vale, sat at the head of the table, his perfect smile never wavering as he spoke about trade opportunities. "Think of it," Vale said, gesturing to the holographic display showing magnificent Imperial cities. "Your world could have all of this within a decade. Clean energy, advanced medicine, faster than light travel, all for a few simple trade agreements." Dr. Emma Wright watched from her observation post behind the mirrored glass. As Earth's leading expert in alien behavior, she noticed things others missed. The way Vale's fingers tapped the table when humans asked certain questions. How his aides exchanged quick glances at specific topics. "They're hiding something," she wrote in her tablet. "They're too rehearsed, too perfect." In the meeting room, the Empire's representatives laid out their proposal. They wanted mining rights to certain areas of Earth, permission to establish small bases on the Moon, and access to Earth's water resources. In exchange, they offered seemingly miraculous technology. But deep beneath the Pentagon, a different story was emerging. "Found another one," announced Jack Turner, chief data analyst. His screen showed reports from a distant world called Proxima 7. Same pattern. The Empire came offering technology. Within 15 years, the entire planet was stripped of resources. The population now lives in sealed domes because their atmosphere is too polluted to breathe. Admiral Miller studied the growing wall of evidence. 23 worlds had fallen to the Empire's trade agreements. Each story was the same. Initial prosperity followed by complete economic collapse and environmental destruction. "Look at this timing." Dr. Wright pointed to a chart. "They're getting faster at it. The first world took 30 years to fully exploit. The last one took only 8. They're perfecting their method." The Empire's true pattern became clear. First, offer advanced technology that made the target world dependent on Imperial supplies. Then, gradually increase the cost of maintaining that technology. Finally, when the planet was deep in debt, demand complete resource rights as payment. Meanwhile, in the public meetings, Vela was showing off more Imperial wonders. "Your medical facilities could be upgraded immediately," he said, displaying plans for advanced hospitals. "Think of the lives you could save." But in a secured lab in Geneva, Earth scientists had made a crucial discovery. They had secretly studied a piece of Imperial technology left behind after a meeting. "It's not as advanced as it looks," reported Dr. Mary Peters, head of reverse engineering. "They'd deliberately made it complex, added unnecessary parts. It's like they're trying to make sure we can't understand or repair it ourselves." The Empire's deception went deeper. Their clean energy systems actually produced hidden waste. Their medical technology created subtle dependencies on Imperial pharmaceuticals. Everything was designed to look miraculous while ensuring the target world could never break free. Admiral Miller received another urgent report. The Empire had started moving more ships into the solar system, claiming they were trade vessels and cultural exchange ships. Orbital scans showed they were actually armed to the teeth. "They're getting impatient," Director Thompson observed. "They're not used to negotiations taking this long. Other worlds usually jump at their first offer." In her lab, Dr. Wright made another breakthrough. She had been studying the Empire's cultural database, supposedly a gift of knowledge. Hidden in the data were signs of the Empire's greatest weakness, their absolute certainty in their own superiority. "They genuinely believe we're primitive," she reported to the Emergency Council. "They think we can't possibly understand their technology or detect their true intentions. This blinds them to our actual capabilities." Earth's leaders made their decision. They would continue to play along, appearing eager but hesitant, asking for more time to consider the generous offers. Meanwhile, Earth's real preparations accelerated. In hidden facilities around the world, scientists worked to understand and improve upon the Empire's technology. Military forces trained in secret for space combat. And most importantly, Earth's quantum defense grid grew stronger each day. The Empire thought they were following their usual strategy. They didn't realize that this time, their target was letting them think they were winning, while preparing to show them just how wrong they were about humanity's capabilities. Vale left that day's meeting satisfied, certain that Earth would soon join the Empire's growing list of conquered worlds. He never noticed Dr. Wright's small smile as she watched him leave, or the knowing looks exchanged by Earth's representatives. The trap was set. Now it was just a matter of time before the Empire walked right into it. The morning sky over Geneva turned dark as the Imperial flagship descended through the clouds. It wasn't supposed to be there. The Empire had agreed to keep their large ships in orbit. This was their first open show of force. Inside the United Nations emergency chamber, screens showed more Imperial ships moving closer to Earth. They had dropped their pretense of being simple trade vessels. Now their weapon systems were clearly visible. High Commissioner Vale strode into the chamber without waiting for an invitation. Gone was his friendly smile, replaced by a cold, hard look. "Your time for consideration is over," he announced to the assembled world leaders. "Earth will join the Empire's protection sphere. Now." Admiral Miller stood at the back of the room, his hand resting on his tablet computer. With one touch, he could activate Protocol Defiance. They had hoped it wouldn't come to this, but they were ready. "And if we decline?" asked the UN Secretary General, her voice steady, despite the threat hanging in the air. Vale's laugh was empty of humor. "Decline? Perhaps I haven't made myself clear. This isn't a request." He waved his hand, and a hologram appeared, showing hundreds of Imperial warships moving into the solar system. "You have two options," Vale continued. "Accept our generous offer of protection and prosperity, or face complete isolation. No trade, no travel beyond your atmosphere, no access to space. Your economy will collapse within months." The room remained silent. Vale mistook this for fear, not noticing the subtle nods being exchanged between Earth's leaders. "We've studied your civilization thoroughly," Vale said, pacing the room. "You depend on satellite communications, space-based navigation, orbital weather monitoring. How long do you think you'll last when we disable all of that?" Director Thompson stepped forward. "Interesting threat, Commissioner Vale. But I have a question." He pulled up an image on the main screen. "Could you explain this?" The image showed an Imperial mining operation on another world. The atmosphere was toxic, the ground torn apart by massive machines. In the background, the planet's native species worked in horrible conditions. Vale's face twitched. "Where did you get that?" "We have more," Thompson continued. "Much more. Would you like to see what happened to the last 23 worlds that accepted your protection?" For the first time, uncertainty crossed Vale's face. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. Primitive worlds weren't supposed to have this kind of intelligence. "It doesn't matter what you think you know," Vale snapped. "You have no choice. The Empire." The chamber's lights flickered, then stabilized. Outside, a low hum filled the air as hidden defense systems across the planet came online. Admiral Miller stepped forward. "Actually, Commissioner, we do have a choice. And we've made it." He pressed his tablet. Protocol Defiance is now active. Around the Earth, invisible fields of energy sparked to life. The quantum defense grid, hidden from Imperial scans, created an impenetrable shield around the planet. Vale's communicator buzzed. His eyes widened as he received reports. His ships couldn't lock their weapons on Earth's major cities. Their targeting systems were being jammed by technology that shouldn't exist on such a primitive world. "This is your final warning," Vale threatened, but his voice had lost its edge. "Submit to the Empire, or..." "No," The Secretary General interrupted. "This is your final warning. Remove your ships from our solar system." Vale laughed again, but there was nervousness in it now. "You can't be serious. You're one primitive world. We are an empire of 10,000 systems. An empire that's never faced real resistance," Admiral Miller said, "because you only prey on worlds that can't fight back. Worlds that don't see through your deception until it's too late." On screens around the chamber, more Imperial ships appeared, moving into attack positions. But Earth's leaders remained calm. They knew something Vale didn't. Humanity's greatest weapons weren't the ones he could see. "This is your last chance," Vale said. "Submit, or face the consequences." The Secretary General stood, her voice carrying the weight of all humanity's determination. "No, Earth will not submit. Earth will not be exploited. And if you want a demonstration of just how primitive we really are," she nodded to Admiral Miller. Miller pressed another button on his tablet. Across Earth's orbit, hidden defense platforms powered up, revealing Earth's true military might. The Empire's ultimatum had failed. Now they would learn why you should never underestimate humanity. The first Imperial ship fired its weapons at Earth's defense grid, expecting an easy victory. The green energy beam struck the quantum shield and simply disappeared. No explosion, no damage, nothing. In the UN Command Center, Admiral Miller watched the Empire's confusion with grim satisfaction. "They still think we're using their level of technology," he said to Captain Ann Roberts, his tactical officer. "Let's show them how wrong they are." The Imperial fleet commanders were getting nervous. Their scans couldn't penetrate Earth's defenses. Their weapons had no effect. And most worrying of all, they were detecting energy signatures that shouldn't exist on a primitive world. High Commissioner Vale's voice crackled over the emergency channel. "This is impossible. Your world doesn't have this technology. You can't." "Can't what?" Admiral Miller interrupted. "Can't defend ourselves. Can't see through your lies." He nodded to Captain Roberts. "Show them our first surprise." Across Earth's orbit, hundreds of hidden satellites activated. They had been invisible to Imperial scans, disguised as space debris. Now they revealed their true nature, a network of advanced defense platforms. "Impossible," Vale shouted again. "Our scans showed no weapons." "Your scans showed what we wanted them to show," Miller replied. "Just like you've been showing us what you wanted us to see. The difference is, we saw through your deception. You fell for ours." The Imperial ships launched their first wave of fighters, thousands of small craft rushing toward Earth. They expected to overwhelm Earth's defenses through sheer numbers. Instead, they met the Aegis shield system. Pure energy arced between Earth's defense satellites, creating a web of power that no Imperial ship could penetrate. The fighters that tried simply stopped working, their systems shut down by technology they'd never encountered before. In his command ship, Vale watched in horror as his first wave of fighters drifted helplessly in space. "What have you done to them?" "We protected ourselves," the UN Secretary General answered. "Something you forced us to become very good at. Your empire isn't the first threat humanity has faced. We've spent centuries preparing for moments like this." The larger Imperial ships moved forward, charging their main weapons. But Earth was ready for this too. The defense grid shifted, creating concentrated points of energy that absorbed and redirected the Imperial attacks. "Sir," Captain Roberts called out, "they're trying to teleport troops directly onto the surface." Admiral Miller smiled. "Let them try." The Empire's teleport beams hit Earth's atmosphere and bounced back, their targeting systems confused by quantum interference patterns that Earth scientists had developed specifically for this purpose. In the Geneva Command Center, Dr. Emma Wright monitored the Empire's communications. "They're panicking," she reported. "They've never faced a civilization that could resist their technology. Their entire strategy depends on technological superiority." The Imperial fleet regrouped, forming a battle line that would have terrified most worlds. But Earth's defenders had studied the Empire's tactics. They knew what was coming next. "They're preparing their primary weapon," Captain Roberts announced. "The one they use to force submission." The massive Imperial flagship opened its forward sections, revealing a weapon that could crack planets. Vale's voice came through again, desperate now. "This is your last chance. Submit, or we will be forced to." Admiral Miller pressed a button on his command console. Instantly, the quantum defense grid reconfigured itself. Thousands of small drones, hidden in Earth's orbit, moved into position. The Empire fired their planet cracker weapon. A beam of pure destruction lanced toward Earth and vanished into a quantum sync field, a technology the Empire had never seen before. "Impossible," Vale screamed. "That weapon has broken worlds." "Not this world," Miller replied calmly. "Not today. Not ever." The drones activated, each one targeting an Imperial ship with precision strikes that disrupted their power systems. Ships began losing power, their mighty weapons falling silent. In the command center, the Secretary General turned to Admiral Miller. "Should we show them our offensive capabilities now?" Miller nodded. "I think it's time they learned that humanity isn't just good at defense." Earth's true weapons powered up. Not the simple projectiles and energy weapons the Empire had expected, but something far more advanced. Something that would show the Empire exactly why they had made a terrible mistake in threatening Earth. The Empire was about to learn that humanity's teeth were very sharp indeed. While Earth's defense systems held the Imperial fleet at bay, another battle was taking place in the digital realm. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in Earth's Cyber Command Center, Jack Turner and his team of hackers were launching their own attack. "Their networks are opening up," Jack announced, his fingers flying across multiple screens. They never expected anyone to break through their quantum encryption. They didn't even bother setting up proper firewalls. Dr. Emma Wright worked alongside the cyber team, helping them understand the Imperial data they were uncovering. "Look at this," she pointed to a stream of information. "These are reports from all their conquered worlds, every detail of how they destroyed those civilizations." The Empire's overconfidence had left them vulnerable. They had never thought a primitive world could hack their systems, so they had never properly protected them. "Send in the virus," ordered Director Thompson, watching the operation from the command center. But this wasn't a normal computer virus. It was something special that Earth had prepared just for this moment. Inside the Imperial network, Earth's AI systems began their work. They moved through the Empire's computers like ghosts, copying data and planting seeds of rebellion. Every dirty secret, every broken promise, every destroyed world, all of it was gathered and prepared for release. On the main Imperial command ship, Valo was facing his own crisis. "What do you mean we've lost control of our communication systems?" He shouted at his technical team. "Fix it." But they couldn't fix it. Earth's attack was too thorough, too well planned. Suddenly, every screen in the Imperial fleet began showing the truth about the Empire's actions. "Sending data packets to all Imperial colonies now," Jack reported with a grin. "Let's see how their Empire holds together when everyone knows the truth." The effect was immediate. On thousands of worlds, people saw proof of the Empire's lies. They saw what had happened to other worlds that had trusted the Empire. They saw their future if nothing changed. In the command center, Dr. Wright monitored the reactions. "It's working," she said. "Look at these responses. Worlds that were about to sign treaties with the Empire are backing out. Colonies are starting to question their agreements." Vale's voice came through the communication system, but this time he wasn't speaking to Earth. He was trying desperately to control the spreading rebellion. "These are lies," he broadcast to the Empire's worlds. "Earth is trying to deceive you." "Really?" Admiral Miller's voice cut in, breaking through the Imperial communication channels. "Then explain these records. Explain the proof. Explain why every world you've protected ends up stripped of resources and reduced to slavery." Earth's hackers had found something even more damaging. The Empire's future plans. Maps of worlds marked for conquest. Lists of resources to be stripped. Calculations of how quickly each civilization could be exploited and discarded. Releasing the second wave of data now, Jack announced. This time, they sent out the Empire's own technical documents. Secret weaknesses in Imperial technology. Hidden backdoors in their control systems. Everything a colony would need to break free. The reaction was beyond anything Earth had expected. Imperial colonies began shutting down their resource shipments. Protected worlds started demanding new treaties. The Empire's carefully built web of control was unraveling. "Sir," Captain Roberts reported from the orbital defense platform, "we're picking up transmissions from Imperial worlds. They're asking for Earth's help. They want to know how we resisted." In the Geneva Command Center, the UN Security Council watched as the Empire's grip on power began to crumble. "Should we share our defense technology?" asked one of the members. The Secretary General nodded. "Carefully, and only with worlds that have proven they'll use it responsibly. But yes, it's time for the galaxy to change." Vale's last transmission was filled with rage and disbelief. "You don't understand what you've done. The Empire brought order to the galaxy." "No," Admiral Miller replied. "You brought exploitation and fear. We're bringing something different. Freedom and truth. And there's nothing your empire can do to stop it." The information war was turning into a revolution, and Earth was leading it. The Empire had never faced an enemy like this, one that fought not just with weapons, but with truth. And truth, it turned out, was the deadliest weapon of all. The Imperial High Command made their final desperate decision. If they couldn't have Earth, they would destroy it. Over 10,000 warships jumped into the solar system, their weapons charged and ready. "This is their entire fleet," Admiral Miller announced in the Earth Defense Command Center. "They've left their core worlds defenseless just to attack us." He turned to Captain Roberts. "Are our teams in position?" "Yes, sir. Operation Ghost Fleet is ready." The Imperial Armada filled Earth's sky like artificial stars. Their ships were massive, each one carrying enough firepower to level a continent. High Commissioner Vale's voice boomed across all channels. "You forced our hand. Earth, surrender now, or we will destroy your entire civilization." The Secretary General stood in the UN chamber, her response calm and clear. "Look behind you, Commissioner." In their rush to attack Earth, the Empire had made a fatal mistake. They hadn't noticed the small, stealthy ships that Earth had positioned throughout the solar system. While the Empire gathered its fleet, these ships had quietly moved into perfect attack positions. "Ghost Fleet, execute attack pattern Delta," Admiral Miller ordered. Suddenly, Earth's hidden ships activated their engines. They were smaller than Imperial vessels, but packed with advanced technology that humanity had kept secret. The Empire's mighty fleet found itself caught in a massive crossfire. "Impossible," Vale shouted as his ships started taking heavy damage. "Where did these vessels come from? Your people aren't supposed to have space combat capabilities." "We learned from watching you," Miller replied. "Every time you threatened a world, we studied your tactics. Every weakness, every blind spot, we planned for this day." Earth's ships moved like dancers through space, too fast for Imperial weapons to track. They struck with precision, targeting the exact weak points that Earth's spies had identified in Imperial ship designs. In the command center, Dr. Wright monitored the battle data. "The Empire's ships are built for intimidation, not real combat," she reported. "They've never needed to fight an equal opponent before." The Imperial fleet tried to regroup, to form their standard battle lines. But Earth's forces didn't play by Imperial rules. They used guerrilla tactics in space, striking from unexpected angles, vanishing before the Empire could respond. "Their shields are failing," Captain Roberts announced. "They never updated their defense systems because they never thought they'd face real resistance." The Empire's mighty fleet was falling apart. Ships that had terrorized countless worlds were being outmaneuvered and disabled by Earth's smaller but more advanced vessels. Vale's flagship launched a desperate attack directly at Earth. "If we fall, we'll take you with us." But humanity had planned for this too. The quantum defense grid shifted, creating a funnel of energy that trapped Vale's ship in a web of force fields. "Now," ordered Admiral Miller. Earth's hidden weapon platforms activated. They didn't fire destructive beams or explosive missiles. Instead, they released waves of targeted electromagnetic pulses designed specifically to disable Imperial technology. Imperial ships began shutting down, their mighty engines falling silent. The crews found themselves floating helplessly in space, all their advanced technology rendered useless. "Status report," the Secretary General demanded. 8,000 Imperial ships disabled. Captain Roberts reported. 2,000 retreating. The rest are surrendering. Vale's final transmission was filled with disbelief. "This isn't possible. We are the Empire. We cannot be defeated by primitives." "We're not primitives," Admiral Miller responded. "We're humans, and you should have learned more about us before you threatened our world." From across the galaxy, reports started pouring in. Other worlds, inspired by Earth's resistance, were rising up against Imperial control. The Empire's unbreakable grip on power was shattering. In the command center, Dr. Wright watched the data streams with satisfaction. "They never understood," she said. "The Empire thought being advanced meant having the biggest ships and the most powerful weapons. They forgot that true advancement comes from the mind and spirit." The battle was ending. Earth's forces moved to rescue Imperial crews from their disabled ships. Even in victory, humanity would show mercy, another concept the Empire had never understood. The mighty Galactic Empire had finally met its match, not in size or strength, but in the determination and ingenuity of a species they had fatally underestimated. The age of Imperial dominance was over. The age of freedom was about to begin. 1 month after the Great Battle, representatives from over 1,000 worlds gathered in the newly constructed Space Assembly Hall in Geneva. The massive room was filled with beings of all shapes and sizes, former Imperial colonies now free to choose their own path. Admiral Miller stood at the main window, watching Earth's new defense fleet patrol the skies. The captured Imperial ships had been stripped down, studied, and rebuilt with human innovations. They now served as a reminder of how much had changed. "It's time," Dr. Wright said, approaching him with a tablet. "The Secretary General is ready to make the announcement." The eyes of the galaxy watched as Earth's Secretary General took the podium. Behind her, a massive screen showed real-time images of the solar system's new defense network, a clear message to anyone who might consider following in the Empire's footsteps. "Today," she began, her voice carried to every corner of known space, "Earth issues the solar system's sovereignty decree. From this moment forward, no hostile force will be permitted to enter our space without explicit permission." The assembled representatives listened intently. Many of them had already requested Earth's help in setting up similar defenses around their own worlds. "The Empire's remaining forces are hereby banned from approaching within 5 light-years of our solar system," she continued. "Any violation of this ban will be met with immediate defensive action." In the audience, former Imperial worlds nodded in approval. They had seen Earth's defensive capabilities firsthand. The ban wasn't just words. It had real power behind it. Director Thompson stepped forward with the next announcement. "Earth will share its defensive technology with any world that pledges to use it only for protection, never for conquest. We will help you defend your homes, just as we defended ours." The response was immediate. Hundreds of representatives stood, signaling their world's desire to join what was already being called the Earth Defense Alliance. Jack Turner, now head of the new Galactic Cybersecurity Division, activated the holographic display showing the new communication network. "We're establishing a free and open information exchange between all member worlds," he explained. "No more secrets, no more hidden agendas. Transparency will be our strength." In orbit, the captured Imperial flagship, now transformed into a peaceful research vessel, served as a symbol of the change. Its weapons had been replaced with scientific equipment. Its prison cells were now laboratories. Where once it had brought fear, it now brought knowledge. "The age of empire is over," the Secretary General declared. "In its place, we established the Galactic Council of Free Worlds. Each member equal, each voice heard, each world's sovereignty respected." From his prison cell on Earth, former High Commissioner Vale watched the broadcast in disbelief. His mighty empire had crumbled in just a few weeks, undone not by superior weapons, but by humanity's determination to remain free. Admiral Miller addressed the assembly next. "Earth's defense technology will now protect all member worlds. But more importantly, we'll teach you to develop your own innovations. Together, we'll build defenses that no empire can ever break." Dr. Wright presented the final part of Earth's plan, a massive database of shared knowledge. "We've learned that true strength comes from working together," she said. "The empire kept worlds isolated and dependent. We'll help each other grow stronger." The Secretary General raised her hand for silence. "Let this day be remembered not as the end of the empire, but as the beginning of something better. From this day forward, Earth stands as a guardian of freedom, a protector of the weak, and a beacon of hope." One by one, the representatives of 1,000 worlds stood and cheered. The empire had united them through fear. Earth had united them through hope and the promise of true independence. In the Space Assembly Hall, under Earth's open sky, a new age began. The quantum defense grid glowed softly in orbit, not just protecting Earth now, but standing as a symbol to the galaxy, a reminder that size doesn't determine strength, that advancement doesn't equal wisdom, and that even the mightiest empire can fall when it underestimates the power of a united humanity. The empire was gone. In its place stood something far stronger, a galaxy of free worlds, standing together, with Earth leading the way to a better future. And above the assembly hall, Earth's new planetary banner flew proud, carrying a simple message that would echo across the stars. "Earth, where empires end and freedom begins."